Welcome to episode number 9 of Bible Blessings. Our passage today is taken from Luke 10 and starting in verse 38. Now it happened as they went that he entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. Here we have a tale of two sisters, Martha and Mary. We don't know who was the older one, but the Bible says that it was Martha that welcomed people into her house. Whenever you would go over to their house, it was considered Martha's house and not Mary's. Why? Probably because she was the one that was always serving the people and making people feel welcome. She was the cook. She was the one that kept the place spick and span and kept it humming with life. Everywhere you looked, it probably was a touch of Martha. This was exactly what was happening when the guests came over to listen to Jesus as he taught people. She was being the hospitable host, making sure everyone was provided for. There are just some people who have the gift of hospitality, of making people feel welcome in their home. This really is a gift. Not everyone has it, but Martha did. She was focused on being the best host that she could be. So the Bible says in verse 40, "But Martha was distracted with much serving," probably to the point of exhaustion. Even if you have the gift of hospitality, there can be a limit to how much you can do. So what happens next? She comes up to Jesus right in the middle of his discourse and teaching, and she says to him, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore tell her to help me." She is annoyed that in the midst of all her busyness, her sister is not helping her. Bad enough that there was already too much for her to do, but the one who should have been by her side, helping her carry the weight of the burden with her, was not helping. She was just sitting there, just sitting at the feet of Jesus and listening to his word. Sitting there while she was running around serving, helping, being the good host, busy, 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 and there is a sister relaxing on the floor next to Jesus. You know, I can relate to Martha. I'm that sort of person. I like to be active and not just sitting all the time. I like to get involved in the doing of things. Some people just have ants in their pants and they can't sit still. But even for them, there is a limit, especially when others aren't helping. And it makes it worse when someone comes to your house and you are busy, but the rest of your family members are just sitting around and not helping. This is probably what Martha is feeling. Jesus has now been pulled into a dispute that Martha has with her sister. How is Jesus going to respond? Luke chapter 10 verses 41 to 42, the Bible says, "And Jesus answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed, and Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her." It is Martha that is all flustered. It is Martha that has brought this whole teaching to a halt because of emotions boiling over. Jesus says that she is worried and troubled, but one thing is needed. It wasn't that she needed to calm down. It wasn't that Martha needed a breath of fresh air. It wasn't even important that Martha needed to get the help of Mary. That wasn't the problem. Jesus said that the one thing she needed was what Mary was actually doing, sitting at his feet and learning from him. There wasn't anything wrong with serving. But you know, sometimes we can get all caught up with the serving. There's nothing wrong with singing in the choir or cooking food for church. There's nothing wrong with being the usher at the door of the church. There is nothing wrong with getting involved with community service. There is definitely nothing wrong with hosting Jesus in your home so he can preach and teach the community. All these things are actually really important, without which our Christian life would be dull and we wouldn't be as connected to each other. But Jesus says that there is something more important than service, something more important than helping others and being a blessing to others, and that is learning to be still and sit at the feet of Jesus to learn from him. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30 says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." We wouldn't be so fretful in service if we learned to sit at the feet of Jesus first. We wouldn't get burnt out if we learned from Christ. We wouldn't get so upset when others don't help when we are sitting at the feet of Jesus and learning from Him. Jesus says, "Come and learn from me." There's nothing wrong with service, but the foundation of our service must be learning to sit at the feet of Jesus. That's the better over the good. That's what we must prioritize in our life today. Maybe today you aren't doing anything bad, so to speak. Maybe you're just going to work or your studies, and you're not stealing or lying or hurting anyone. You're being a good citizen of your country and of heaven. Let's make sure that we don't get so busy that we don't make time for Jesus. Let's make sure that we spend time sitting at the feet of Jesus, that our works don't crowd out our time, that we aren't able to learn from Him. So today, let's pause. Pause to find time to sit at His feet and in His Word. Let's choose the better over the good. See you next time. If you were blessed by the message today, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. It will help to create more content like this and help to spread the blessing. Thank you and God bless.